Try to be something you're not.
Trying to be something I'm not? Trying to be proud of my African heritage? That's being something I'm not, then fine.
My grandmother was a full-blooded Iroquois.
I know all of that, Mama.
They don't know this. I am alive because of the blood of a people who never scraped or begged or apologized for what they were. They asked only one thing of this world, to be allowed to be. It broke my heart when you changed your name. I gave you my grandmother's name, a woman who bore 9 children and educated them all, who held off 6 white men with a shotgun when they tried to drag one of her sons off to jail for not knowing his place. And you had to reach into an African dictionary to find a name that would make you proud.
God rise and God rise. Welcome. This is Chemistry Realignment. We are on Sankofa's time. Yes, we're going to go Pan-Indian unity right now. Alright? God rise. The black strangers of the Iroquois. The Iroquois, also known as the Haudenosaunee or the people of the Long House. Yes, they lived in long houses, not teepees. Are not one nation but a league of several Native American nations who came together in the American Northeast. They were also known as the League of Peace and Power, comprising the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca nations. The Iroquois were an advanced agricultural confederacy whose unique social structure influenced the formation of the American Republic, and their great law inspired the United States Constitution. And this isn't a theory. The Senate passed a resolution stating this clearly in 1988. In fact, Benjamin Franklin himself is quoted as saying, "It would be a very strange thing if 6 nations of ignorant savages, the Iroquois, should be capable of forming a scheme for such an union and be able to execute it in such a manner as that it has subsisted ages and appears indissoluble, and yet that a like union should be impracticable for 10 or a dozen English colonies, to whom it is more necessary and must be more advantageous, and who cannot be supposed to want an equal understanding of their interests." In other words, Europeans saw this model of Pan-Indian unity as both the inspirations and blueprint by which to come together as one people sharing a common goal. Of course, as always, the goal was to destroy the people they got their ideas from.
But the Iroquois didn't claim to be originators. You see, the Iroquois give a lot of credit to strangers who came to them. It was a stranger who taught them the science of agriculture, leading to the myth of the 3 sisters, corn, beans, and squash. The Iroquois weren't a black people by far. Ellsworth, Huntington noted strong Negroid traits among them and the Algonquins, which he traced back to their origins. But there's much more evidence that these black traces were recent, stemming from the fruitful black-Indian relations of the 1800s. In fact, from the 1500s to the 1800s, blacks and Indians throughout the eastern United States were so intimately close that many local Indian populations were half black by the time the census got to them. There are hundreds of examples, a few dozen recorded in the 1912 edition of the Handbook of American Indians north of Mexico. People from 7 different nations, while the Seneca had 11. So there's no telling who could have been absorbed into the Iroquois population. Could have been everybody and anybody, black, red, and white alike. But when we look for clues as to who the famed strangers were, led in very specific direction, again, we're led back to black. In other myths, the strangers reveals himself to have supernatural knowledge. In another, The stranger challenges the high god to a contest of power involving who can move a mountain the furthest. The stranger is amazingly able to move a mountain, but is no match for the creator, who moves it so close to the stranger that he disfigures his nose when he turns to see it. This is said to be the origins of false-face masks, which the Iroquois false-face society uses to honor the stranger. If you look at any of these false-face masks, you will see exactly who this stranger was. Might not be a pleasant depiction, but they were saying the stranger was black. These masks are typically painted black with the grotesque exaggeration of black features that you can find in early European and Asian representations of legendary Africans and our people. Not to mention in some indigenous arts as well. The eyes are large and bright in either yellow or white. We find yellow eyes in the same grotesque exaggeration of features and depictions of the Happy God, Chayawakawan. On most masks you can find today, the hair is long and flaxen, made from black, red, or blonde horse hair. But before the introduction of horses by the Europeans, they used corn husk and buffalo hair. If you remember Bob Marley's song Buffalo Soldier, then you know the texture of buffalo hair. Let's just say it's not like horse hair. It's in fact among some Native American people, such as the Apache. The word for black man, Lizhena, or Lizhena, Lizhena, means buffalo, black hair.